One of my favorite new lol cows, the gadoosh god Wes Watson, has just had a crazy development in his lore as he continues to spiral. He has become an impressive clown. Now, I made a video a little over a month ago kind of bringing you all up to speed on the story, the anime arc of Wes Watson. The sensitive Sigma Watson does your standard guru scamming tactics where he sells these garbage classes and courses on how to be a multi-millionaire who gets more ass than a toilet seat, and he sells this invaluable
It's basically just a meme at this point.
knowledge for thousands upon thousands of dollars, preying upon gullible, desperate men who look at videos of Wes Watson's fake lifestyle and rented mansion with stars in their eyes, thinking they're only one Zoom meeting away from achieving that for themselves, so they toss their wallet at the computer screen, hoping to latch on to Wes Watson's juiced-out bosom to suckle a bit of success from it, and he drains their piggy bank and they say thank you for it. They get nothing in return, but Wes Watson gets very rich off of his little pay piggies. That's the whole scam. We all know how it works. But what makes Wes Watson so special is that he's not afraid to show his sensitive side. He is constantly arguing with Redditors and people on Instagram, so he directly messages pretty much everyone who makes fun of him, and it's what makes him such an entertaining clown. So the video I made...
Can't do that. You can't beat the internet, you know?
Talking about gadooshing, well...
You just gotta roll with the punches, but this guy, he's just so sensitive and insecure that he's just gotta reply to everyone like that.
That came from him, because he was talking about how Redditors were gadooshing him. It's just so entertaining listening to him bitch and moan and rant and spiral into lunacy, but he did recently find himself in a serious situation, which is what we're here to talk about today. He has some charges filed against him, if you can believe that. He already spent 10 years in the slammer before where he'd brag about how flexible his asshole was hooping his paperwork, and Wes, it's looking like you might need to start getting back on those Kegels. You might need to start working out that sphincter again, because these charges are serious. It's always the people you least expect, huh?
My neighbor Brian was like, yo, where'd you get this knife? I'm like, Bespoke Post, man. I see you talking about Bespoke.
Where's the police report? Are there charges being pressed, right? Well, I have it all, and I'm gonna show it to you, and I'm gonna go over it with you. This is an open case. I'm working on the full footage, censoring it in a way so I don't get in legal trouble, and I'm gonna put it out on here, and then later, when I can actually release the whole thing, I'm going to put it on X uncensored when I'm allowed to.
Last time I was goofing on Whiny Watson, I also briefly mentioned John Bravo. John Bravo has a channel that has done extremely good coverage on Wes Watson's embarrassing descent into madness. And John Bravo has a great video here where he is going over the footage to the best of his ability, as well as the police report from Wes Watson and his group of lobotomites assault on someone that actually took up Wes Watson's common challenge of fighting him. So, let me go ahead and tell you how we got here, the context. About a week ago, maybe a little over a week ago, there was footage, as well as Wes Watson's testimonials about this, that someone had confronted him at the gym, a 7-foot monster is what he was referred to as, and Wes Watson beat his ass. And there was like some stills that floated around, but no one had like the full picture, and some people were calling it fake. Well, John Bravo did some digging, and he got all of the footage, which he is saying he's going to release the full uncensored version once he's able to make sure that he's not going to get in trouble for it, and also has the police report, which he goes over in this video, which we will also go over as well.
The first thing I want you guys to see, I have to obviously black out the person's name, the police report number. See where it says disposition pending? That means the case is open, all right? And the other thing I'm going to tell you ahead of time is I'm going to go to the bottom and read you one.
One of two things are going to happen, I think. Either he's going to have a pretty decent amount of jail time because he's already been to jail, or he's going to have to make a settlement for like a shitload of money or something like that.
Part that I'm going to go back to the start, okay, because I know a lot of people are impatient. They want to watch 3 seconds and leave, okay? When the victim was asked if he wanted to press charges, the victim stated yes. And he was jumped by multiple people and was not just a 1-versus-1 battle.
Now, the gist of it is, the reason the 7-foot monster was there in the first place is because he went there to actually take up Wes Watson on his challenge. Wes Watson has been wishing for hair for many, many moons now, but the only wish that's actually being granted is someone actually taking him up on this. So the 7-foot monster shows up, and Wes Watson doesn't actually fight him one-on-one. So he actually just gets ganged up on by Wes and 3 of his buddies who are hitting him with dumbbells, weight belts, and it's just brutal. And imagine being that pathetic worm that flexes about this, because Wes Watson was making it sound like he was some kind of hero and this was all self-defense. He made it sound like he fought this guy with the Knight's Code of Honor. Like a 1v1 pugilistic fisticuffs, the old-fashioned way. That's a load of fucking barnacles right there. That's just fanfic, because what actually happened is Wes Watson got to hide behind his friends and they just ganged up on this guy. Imagine being such a pitiful fucking vermin.
Yeah, the video, it was pretty bad. They were basically just beating the shit out of him with gym equipment. It's not looking good for Wes.
That you challenge someone to a fight and then bring 3 other dudes with
Like, why would you willingly do that? Like, you're on video.
you to help fight that guy with you. It's so cringe, which is Wes Watson in a nutshell.
The suspect stated the victim walked up to him stating he wanted to fight. The suspect stated they began to fight verbally and then escalated to physical. The victim stated he doesn't know who the victim is and he never seen him before. When asked if he wanted to press charges, he said no, this is Wes Watson. They asked him if he wants to press charges. Wes Watson says no, and he never seen him before. Units then spoke to the victim, the 7-foot monster, who stated he was told by the suspect to come fight him via Instagram. We know how Wes challenges all of us on Instagram. He did it to me, the piece of shit, but I knew not to go in because his goons, security, and his bullshit weapons pulling out the shit out of the purse.
I love the way John Bravo calls him a piece of shit all the time. He also calls him Peg Watson pretty often, and it just always makes me giggle just listening to him always slide in, you piece of shit, to Wes Watson. But anyway, what he is describing here was Wes Watson saying, like, he didn't know the suspect he was working out, this guy came over and said he wants to fight him. Well, the reason he came over and said he wants to fight him is because Wes Watson had challenged him, and he actually showed the Instagram messages that confirmed, yep, this was like a prearranged thing where Wes does the standard Wes thing of saying, come fight me. And the guy showed up, he said, bet, I'm here to fight. So he walked over to him, they had like a really brief verbal back and forth, and the victim did give him like a little shove, but to me it looks like he backed off, looking to try and de-escalate things. I think he wasn't really there to fight. I think he was there more just to confront a bully. I think that's what he was doing, because it doesn't look like he went over there to try and just beat Wes Watson's ass out.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm sure he wasn't, expecting to get jumped by like 4 people with gym equipment, like
Out of nowhere. Like, he didn't throw any sucker punches or anything from the footage that's been released. He goes over there, it's a verbal back and forth, and then he gives him like a little shove and then steps away. And then after he does that, that's when Wes Watson and his boys just go ballistic on him. Wes Watson strikes him in the face with a weight belt multiple times, and then all hell breaks loose.
When units looked at the victim's phone, it shows the victim messaging the suspect to fight him. The victim then stated he went to the gym to confront the suspect. So now we have the motive. So he wanted to go to the gym and fight Wes because Wes has been challenging all of us to come there.
I'm surprised Wes Watson doesn't get like way more people like that confronting him. You can't put out statements like that and not expect people to do anything. You got a shitload of crazy people, a shitload of dumb people, a shitload of all sorts of people,
There, so he went to fight him, but I don't think he knew it wasn't a one-on-one battle with Mr. Peg Watson.
It wasn't even a battle at all. It was checkmate before the game even started, because Wes was traveling with 3 of his friends that were using weapons to defend Wes Watson, even though there wasn't really a threat to defend him from, at least not in my eyes. So like that initial shove, that is instigating for sure. I get that. They're in a verbal argument, but after the shove, he backs off. And it doesn't look like he ever planned on like striking at Wes until the weight belt hits him in the head twice. They then get into a verbal argument, and then he kind of like falls forward at Wes Watson. Maybe he's kind of lunging at him, but it also looks like his friend hit him with a dumbbell and it sent him forward, so it's kind of hard to tell. But what is irrefutable is that after that lunge, he falls to the ground, and then Wes and his friends hit him with dumbbells and weight belts for a very long period of time, and it ends with the victim kind of hunched over like this on the ground, all bloodied and bruised, and Wes Watson comes out of nowhere with a soccer kick to the fucking skull. That is a move that kills people. That is oftentimes fatal. And according to John Bravo in the full footage, there are 4 or 5 soccer kicks to the head of this guy.
Wes Watson, the victim, stated they got in a verbal fight, which escalated to physical. The victim was stating that he was hit by a belt and then jumped.
This is the dangers of surrounding yourself with yes men that have no brains of their own.
By multiple people and hit by weights. When asked if he wanted to press charges, the victim stated yes.
What would have been, you know, a one-on-one conflict, which is not great either. The problems that Wes is going to be dealing with now, since they're all involved, are just going to be way worse.
He was jumped by multiple people, and it wasn't versus one. After reviewing CCTV footage of the incident, so the cops watched the CCTV footage, the victim places his phone down next to a weight machine as if he was attempting to record the encounter.
So he obviously recorded this knowing full well that he wanted to film his confronting of Wes Watson. So now we know why it was being recorded. It wasn't like a staged thing, which is what a lot of people thought it might have been when this initially started to float around. It's all very real and all confirmed in the police report here.
The suspect then swings the belt towards the victim's head, appearing to hit him. The suspect and victim continue to argue verbal. The suspect then turns around and starts to walk away from the victim with his back towards the victim. The victim then rushes towards the suspect and attempts to strike the suspect in the head with his fist, but appears to miss. Alright, so that portion of the footage I'm going to show you guys. So after Wes hit him with that belt 2 times, right? That asshole with the dumbbell, his butt buddy, was behind him. And I can't tell if he hit him with it or not, but it lunged him forward, and then he went back to get Wes. But he didn't even make it like a foot or 2, and Wes took him down.
It's just kind of hard to tell. He does have a dumbbell, and he does go off camera, and I can kind of see like the dumbbell on the back of the guy's shirt. So it looks like he got struck by the dumbbell, but it's hard to tell because it's censored here, and I don't have the full thing yet, but that's kind of what it looks like to me. I can kind of see arguments for like, oh, the 7-foot monster started it, this is kind of on him. Wes Watson was well within his right to defend himself. That would almost work if the rest of the video footage wasn't there, which is why when Wes Watson was talking about it, he made sure you didn't see the whole picture, because the guy is on the ground, covered up, fetal position, just trying to like protect his head, and Wes and his friends punch, kick, and strike him with weapons for an extremely long period of time.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Even though it's very clear, this fight is over.
Even if it's not against the law, it's just not going to hold up in the court of public opinion. Like, people, they're going to want their justice.
Also, it's a fight Wes Watson himself fucking agreed to, it seems. A one-on-one. But it actually was never one-on-one, because Wes, you can't 1v1. He'll never meet you on Rust. He's always going to bring his whole crew with him. So the guy showed up for the fight with Wes, but got gangbanged instead.
The suspect instantly reacts and gets the victim on the ground and begins to strike the victim in the head and face numerous times with his hands. Yeah, I counted. 45 fucking times. After the victim being hit numerous times, all you can see is the victim on his knees, protecting his face and not fighting back. His eyes were being gouged, his ponytails were being pulled. Dirty shit. He's being held down by his butt buddies. They're all taking a little lick in, a kick here, a kick there. The suspect then stopped hitting the victim, and the victim stopped protecting his face. That's that part with the kick.
You know, I wonder if they're going to be prosecuted for this, not just Wes.
And attempted to stand up. The suspect then walked over and kicked the victim in the face with force. That's that soccer kick. But prior to that soccer kick, there was 4 soccer kicks. 3 or 4 hard ones to his face.
No exaggeration, that kind of kick kills people. Straight up. That has put people in the dirt thousands of times over. And this fight is clearly done. There's no more threat to Wes or his group of goofballs. There's no threat there at all. It's done. And Wes Watson comes back like a post-credit scene to deliver one more soccer kick to this man's skull, which literally could have just killed him. But I've still seen people just try and say that everything that happened here is justifiable as self-defense for Wes Watson, because
No, it's not.
the guy came up to him and started it. But I just don't fully agree with that, because I feel like the fight is over when 4 people are collectively beating a man with weapons on the ground. Like, I think the fight's done. There's not really a threat to defend yourself from. Also, you were the one that agreed to a 1v1 fight, and then it wasn't 1v1. And also, the guy never actually even struck Wes. There's that brief moment where he kind of like lunges at him, but that's also possible. He was falling after getting hit by that dumbbell. It's hard to tell. But no matter how hard you try and justify it, there's no amount of mental gymnastics that could possibly justify that final kick from Wes. Because again, he crawls away on his fucking hands and knees. This is clearly over. Wes Watson's fucking friends have even left at this point, but he still comes back around like a jump scare to deliver that soccer kick, which could have just been fatal. So there's just no way anyone, not even Saul fucking Goodman, could make a convincing argument that that still falls under self-defense. Even Wes...
Well, I have a feeling that guy that was getting his ass kicked is going to get paid.
Watson's own friends have left, and he has crawled away on his hands and knees, not even looking at you. You come back to attack him.
While he was already done, and they didn't say it in here. I'm going to show it to you guys in the footage. The victim stated at the hospital that he wants to press charges. When he was first put on the ground and stated he was telling the suspect to stop. The victim had the left side of his face very swollen lips, and was bleeding from the nose and mouth. Charges are being pressed. The case is open. I have the body cam footage coming. I have the full fight footage coming.
John Bravo goes on to explain why he's releasing all this to the public, explaining that he believes that it's a good service to allow people to form their own opinions on something like this. And I think he's absolutely right. Though I don't know how anyone could form the opinion that Wes Watson was in the right here. Again, if the whole footage didn't exist, you could maybe say that there was self-defense at play. Wes Watson feared for his...
Yeah, that's going to be hard to argue, man, for Wes's lawyer.
...his life after someone accepted his challenge of fighting him one-on-one, thus they had to gangbang the guy. Okay, maybe you could stretch for something there, but I think having the rest of the footage, at least for me, has 100% solidified Wes Watson as a big bitch. He issues these challenges. Someone finally accepted it, and then Wes Watson has his 3 friends help him beat that guy's ass. And that guy never even struck Wes, at least not in any of the footage that's been released. There's that one tiny shove, and then he like kind of lunges at Wes Watson, but doesn't land any punches or anything at all. Immediately covers up because 4 people are now attacking him. And 4 people immediately get ready to attack him the second that he tells Wes Watson that he's up to actually take that fight. So yeah, what a piece of shit. Big old piece of shit. Classic Wes Watson. That's really...
I mean, what do you expect out of a felon? You know, you can't expect much. Unless you're, proven wrong, but, in Wes's case, is proving himself right.
Really about it. So yeah.
Buy on Blue.
So, what do you guys think? You think, Wes is going to go to jail for this? Or you think he's going to have to make a settlement? Or, something else that I'm not aware of? Or you think he's going to get off the hook? Let me know. Thanks for watching.